Namaste. Today I am very happy because my new book, Essence of Retrograde Planets, is finally published. Here is the first copy of my book, Essence of Retrograde Planets. In this book, I have covered extensively the essence of retrograde planets and the result of retrograde planets in all houses. But in addition to that, I have also shared certain remedies that will help you to gain more from these retrograde planets that you have in your birth chart. I am very happy that finally a book on such a complex subject of retrograde planets is finally out, and I am certain that if you are following me closely and if you have a retrograde planet in your birth chart, then you will definitely read this book sometime, somewhere. It is necessary to remember that retrograde planet is not a curse. Instead, it is a blessing in disguise, because retrogression brings pause. Retrogression is a sign that you need to pause, reflect, and then act. In human world, you will see most of them are just running and running and running. They don't have time to sit back. They are in the race. They are constantly running. But retrogression gives you this opportunity to slow down, to introspect, to evaluate, and then act. So if a retrograde planet is in a chart that has a certain quality to it, then the person can attain great heights of success. In this beautiful book, I have also mentioned the celebrities that have retrograde planets. And you will be surprised to know that one of the celebrity is none other than the Prime Minister of our country, Sri Narendra Modi. Similarly, there are many more celebrities whose chart have retrograde planets, and I have mentioned this in this book. But apart from the materialistic people, there are great spiritual saints who also have retrograde planets. Who are they? I have mentioned it in this book. This book is available on Amazon, Flipkart. In fact, it is available on all international sites of Amazon, Amazon UK, Amazon US. And now in this podcast, I have talked a little bit more on the essence of retrograde planet. I am certain that if you have a retrograde planet and if you have a certain quality to your chart, then someday you may want to read this book, Essence of Retrograde Planets. With this, let's begin. And if you want to order a copy from me, then I have only 15 copies with me. You simply have to WhatsApp me, and I will try to provide you with a copy at a much lesser price than Amazon. So let's begin with this podcast. Retrograde planets simply signify that you need to pause, reflect, and act on those matters of your life that the retrograde planets represent in your birth chart. And so when you pause, reflect and act, you are bound to improve a lot, and you may also attain excellency or mastery in the matters that retrograde planets rule in your birth chart. And therefore, we have great men born with retrograde planets in their birth chart. Sri Ramakrishna Paramhans, the Guru of Swami Vivekananda, had retrograde planets in his birth chart. Sri Ramakrishna Paramhans had retrograde Mercury, retrograde Saturn, and retrograde Jupiter in his birth chart. One of the greatest avatars of recent times, and the man I love the most, Avatar Meher Baba, also had retrograde Saturn and retrograde Venus. Avatar Meher Baba has mentioned 5 great masters of his times. These 5 great masters are Sai Baba of Shirdi, Hazrat Baba Jan, a female Sufi saint, Tajuddin Baba, Narayan Maharaj, and Upasani Baba. Upasani Baba was the only person initiated by Sai Baba. So technically, Sai Baba had only one disciple, and his name was Upasani Baba. Interestingly, Upasani Baba also had retrograde Saturn in his birth chart. Tajuddin Baba also had retrograde Saturn and retrograde Jupiter in his birth chart. The bottom line is that the retrograde state provides motivation to focus more on self-growth and thereby attain the divine. However, this is possible when the overall horoscope has a certain spiritual inclination. In a cheap man or in a cheap woman's horoscope, these retrograde planets will only bring frustrations. A cheap man or a cheap woman is a person who loves to offend others, who loves to post negative, hurtful comments, and basically who don't have the sense, who don't have consciousness. Now, when it comes to materialistic people such as political leaders, businessmen, artists, even here retrograde planets have provided exceptional results, with some of them becoming world famous and successful in their field of work. So basically, retrograde planets gain strength and compels the native to pause, reflect and act. And when you pause, reflect and then act, you definitely get a better outcome than otherwise. Retrograde planets bring wisdom, and that is a fact that nobody can deny. When you are able to see with no dust of knowledge on the mirror of your soul, when your soul is without any dust of knowledge, when it is just a mirror, it reflects that which is. That is wisdom. That reflecting of that which is wisdom reflects that which is your soul, yourself, your consciousness. And therefore, it is said that knowledge burdens you, whereas when you surrender to your Guru, then you no longer need to carry the burden of knowledge. Then the dust of knowledge is wiped out, and then you are able to realize yourself. And that is why Bhagwan Raman Maharshi says, why do you wish to burden yourself with more knowledge and suffer more? Retrograde planets have the potential to help you realize the significance of living your life by surrendering to God, the Holy Father. When you surrender to God, when you surrender to your Guru, you no longer remain an encyclopedia of knowledge. Instead, you become a wise person. It is necessary to note that wisdom is far superior to mere knowledge. Seek wisdom, not knowledge. Knowledge is of the past, wisdom is of the future. The great seers and sages and the great spiritual masters are ocean of wisdom. When you surrender to them in totality, the ocean of wisdom starts flowing within you too. The key is to surrender. Bhagavan Raman Maharshi says, grace is ever present. All that is necessary is that you surrender to it. Surrender is a might prayer itself. Doubts arise because of an absence of surrender. The Bhagavan says, in those who are fortunate enough to surrender to the feet of their Sadguru, the supreme bhakti will grow. Such bhakti will itself grow into jnana, wisdom, which will completely burn away all other unworthy desires. One is able to surrender only when one is able to turn inwards. This turning inwards is one beautiful gift that retrograde planets bestow on the native. And so, when the horoscope is of good quality and has a spiritual inclination, then this gift of turning inwards leads the native to great heights of consciousness, awareness. And once awareness comes, its fire burns the illusions that the mind has created. The level of consciousness, awareness is higher when planets are in the retrograde state. And this is a very natural process, because when you pause and reflect through deep introspection and inner calling, you focus on raising the level of your awareness, your consciousness, and then this higher level of awareness leads you to many successes in life. In the following chapters of my new book, Essence of Retrograde Planets, I have revealed the true essence of retrograde planets and a significant chapter on certain remedies that can help you to gain more from the retrograde planets in your birth chart. This is my 9th book, and I am very happy to see that it is based on retrograde planets, a subject of great significance. Through this book, I have cleared all the misconceptions and myths about retrogression. Unfortunately, many men and women have been misguided in creating fear towards retrograde planets, when in reality it is a wonderful placement that has something special to offer. Something unique, something different from the usual. And so, I would like to congratulate all those beautiful souls having retrograde planets in their birth chart. Remember, you are special, you are unique, and you have something unique to offer to this human world. With this insightful note, and with the blessings of my compassionate Guru, I am certain that this book will definitely motivate and bring a new, fresh perspective towards retrogression and retrograde planets. And if you have been living with the illusion that a retrograde planet is a kind of a curse, then let me tell you, it is not a curse, it is a great blessing. A blessing in disguise. You all can order this book on Amazon, Flipkart. This book is available on all international sites of Amazon, Amazon US, Amazon UK, and other Amazon European countries. I am certain that those who have been following me closely and those who have retrograde planets will definitely read this book one day at some time, somewhere. Jai Sri Ganesha, Jai Guru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.